So now before we move on, I just want to show you the very basic functionality that we have in this endpoint. Now let me just tell you right away, two things are bad here. One thing is we actually have an error right now. Let me just fix that, because the problem here is that the variable called schema object ID is actually not working, so I need to add it right here using Mongoose. And this is the way that we can define two variables in a row without having to add the var right here. It's not a big thing, but now the schema is there. It's really important you add this line, and you do it the way I did it here. Say you want to go to the next line, and then you want to add the schema using the Mongoose that we're having right here, because we're using the schema down here, okay? And if you don't do that, you'll get an error when we try to get everything. Now that was one of the concerns I had to tell you about. The other one is that the controller is almost working. There'll be some issues about populating data, and there'll be some issues about actually reading and updating the week plans. So we'll get back to that in a later lesson, but I want to try and show you a few things in the next couple of lessons. I want to show you how to actually make this work using Postman, what runs right now. I want to show you how to actually use Angular.js to show this, and then I want to show you how to actually send this into OpenShift, and then we'll get back to addressing the other issues that we have right now. So let's start out with just trying to show this from Postman and do a send here. Hopefully I'll get my syllabus back, and as you can see, this is pretty much just a huge bunch of JSON that's just been added for me using the seeding. So all of these documents are actually being pulled from the database now right away, and that seems to be running. Let's try to do a get where we put an ID in the end, just like we showed in one of the earlier lessons. And here I only get the single one, and let's actually even try to get this one instead, just to show you that that's actually running as well. Okay, so this guy doesn't have any week plans. We'll get back to that later. I can of course do a post to create a new guy. Let me just steal this one and do a post just to show that that is also running. I'll go in and make it raw JSON. I'll paste in the information from one of the ones already existing. I won't add an ID here because I want it to be automated. And the academy will be 2 just to write something. I'll add this picture. I'll say I want this in 2017, Android development 2.0, new course I'm making here. The rest will just be the same. The owner is the same, objectives are the same. I don't need the version, that'll also be automatically created for me. And then I don't need to add the week plans either because I don't have any yet, so that'll also be automatically created. So let's just send this to see if I can actually create a new week plan, and it says cannot post. So I'm actually getting an exception. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, I'm adding an ID. That's of course wrong. I just need to put in the plain URL. So let's try again. Now it gives me a response that is actually added here with a new ID and a list of empty week plans. So if I try to get every week plan syllabus again, now I actually have 3 syllabuses, right? And I could keep going if I wanted to. I can also delete it. So let's just delete this one, the complex one. There we go. I'll do the slash, I'll do the delete. Now the cool thing about this REST API is pretty much that, I'll just fix this error in a second. The cool thing about the REST API is pretty much that it's very simple to use when you understand how to use it, right? When you understand you need to use this part, and then you have different request types depending on what you want to do. Is very, very basic. Now the reason that this guy's failing is because I have a raw body. In JSON I need to have an empty JSON body when I delete something. So there we go. Now it's deleted. So if I go back and get all the syllabuses again, I know this is kind of a recap of what we already did. Now this guy's gone, and let's just remove this, and now I can get all the syllabuses back. And the same with the put. I can actually, with put, I can also update something. So let me just try and do an update here just to show you. For instance, I can go ahead and say I want to update the academy. I want to change that into something different. Let's try and go into the body again. And let's change the academy into EASV 2.0. and send it, and hopefully I'll get the real academy. So most of it is running. Now the update won't work for the week plans. That's one thing. Another thing is I noticed that owners actually get an ID instead of the actual username. We'll get back to that. We'll figure that out later. I don't want to do it now. It's just to show you that this is how we work from Postman, just to make sure that everything seems to be running.